Okay. Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hong Kong U Libraries to join this very innovative and also creative event to be held by two very important speakers. Before we introduce the two of them, I would like to remind all of you to turn off the sound of your mobile phone to make sure that you can enjoy the whole event to the best. And then let me introduce to you first our two speakers and moderator. Paul Au, I guess you all know him very well. That's why you joined this particular event. And the other is Dr. Chi Chung Wong. Chi Chung is also a very famous figure in Hong Kong. He's been with the DJ profession for a long while, and before joining Hong Kong U as our director in general education. And then now he's moving on to another place to take care of also his most important business. He's going to tell you more about himself later on. So today we will enjoy music and also the story of Paul. But before we start listening to the story and the very, wonderful exchange of these two important speakers, I would like to let one of our partners for co-organizing this event, the Project Clinic, the representative, Sini, to introduce a little bit on why we would like to hold this event. Over to you, Sini.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shini, and I'm currently a year 5 student at HKU. And a few years ago, me and my friend Cian, we wanted to start an initiative called Project Clinic to help any young people, any university students to create their own passion projects. But this year, we're very lucky to work with UMAG, University Museums, Arts and Galleries, HQ Libraries, the Common Core, and Innovation Wing to create this new program for students. It's called the GLAM collections. So GLAM stands for Galleries, Libraries, Archives, and Museums. And basically our goal is to have students and even staff to work together to use our university's GLAM collections to create new innovative projects. So this event is kind of inspired by this ongoing program that we've been running since September. So this is kind of our roadmap that we show our students. So there's 3 phases currently in our program. The first phase is already wrapped up, and the second phase is when the students will work together and design. And you may notice that the design and teach are both starting in December because they kind of run in parallel. We hope that students can work with us to design their projects and then submit their report. But the ones that go above and beyond will get a special recognition if they actually go and implement their project. So far, this is our first phase. The idea is that we want to get students very passionate and excited about our university's GLAM collections. So we have partners to host events. For example, Professor North from UMAG and even Dr. Wu also holding her workshop at library. And basically these workshops involve art of curation, our library collection, some about design thinking, creating chatbots and pedagogy. So a very diverse range of workshops where students can kind of get an idea and get inspired essentially. And this is our phase 2, which actually happened last week at the same spot. We invited our students who've submitted their proposals from phase 1, indicated what they want to do with us. And now we had a kickoff session, and they also presented what projects they wanted to create. And our partners and many of our special guest advisors has also joined us for this day. And these are the shortlisted projects, very diverse. And as you can see, the second one is related to vinyls. So we may also have, if we have some time at the end, we can talk a little bit about that. But these are some of the diverse projects that we've selected from the first phase and hope that they can implement their project with us. But before we can implement, I think it would be nice to also get inspired by kind of local figures like Paul. So that's why we also wanted to run this event today. So I don't want to take up too much time. I know there's a lot of interesting stories coming up, so I'll leave it as that. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Another round of applause for Cindy and also her teammates and also the initiatives and other staff students collab. GLAM, what does it represent, your acronym? Would you Wow. So all the important places and all these treasures places to take into. And today I'm very honored and I have the great pleasure to be reunited with, with Paul. We met each other some decades ago when I was kind of a student too, to learn from more about vinyl collection, to go to Up Liu Gai, of course, that's the the haven of on Hong Kong, or even Kowloon Treasures, especially to find his shop and also to go to his warehouse slash local museum of vinyls. And also he said he wants to get this vinyl junkie book, and of course he has his very special book too. Yeah, if you would like to check out, this is also one of the Hong Kong Library collection you could find. And today as invited to be the moderator. We have a full length of about 1.5 hour session to go into the life stories of Paul. Anyone of you have visited his shop or museum in Abbey Street? Not many, but afterwards, I'm sure you'll be wow, invited to go there. But except on Monday, right? Monday is your holiday.
No, I don't close.
You don't close too? Oh, I thought online you said Monday is your holiday. Now he's a 24/7 man. And I know why it's Saturday morning to do this early bird sharing session, because his shop usually opens after this talk, So you could also take the MTR to go to Sam Sui Po to visit and to have a very chill afternoon. Speaking of vinyls, today we kickstarted with warm-up music. Woodstock, Paul, right? That's
My
his,
favorite.
well, not just his era, but it's the everlasting era of the 1960s, the love and peace decade, that from the songs and also from the stories of the 60s. And another survey, do you want to know how many of our audience today has vinyl records or vinyl players? First thing first, vinyl records, which might be a 7-inch, which might be a more contemporary one, 10-inch, Billie Eilish. or Beatles. Anyone, raise your hand to do a quick survey. You have a vinyl collection, or at least one. One is okay.
I hope.
And then interesting question comes. Many youngsters, hipsters, they have vinyl collection records, but no vinyl turntables. It's just for the decoration or for the IGs. So tell us, if you have vinyl records and also vinyl players. Okay. Vinyl records, but no vinyl records players. Okay, it's time to go to some book or go online anywhere, right? So Paul, tell us, you are Hong Kong's legend or vinyl hero, and the long story has been online with YouTubes and also newspapers, magazines, clippings, archives, that you came to Hong Kong when you were very young, a teenager, and then I mean, it's in the 60s, 70s, right? And then you arrived Hong Kong, and then
I arrived Hong Kong 75.
yeah, 75. So it's wow, it's almost a commemoration last year, right? Just a big 40 years, 50 years of stories. Yeah, the 50 years, right? You spent half a century in
Hong Kong.
in Hong Kong, and then you develop your own shop and also your collection. Tell us how music. I know your father also is a music lover, right? And then turned into you a music lover too. So music and vinyl might not be the same wavelength. Sometimes people will turn on radio. Sometimes people turn on TV, and now you turn on your TikTok or whatever. So tell us how, as a child, vinyl records and music changed your life, please.
Um, it started so accidentally because when I was young, I was born in Saigon, Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were from China, and I was born in the late 50s, baby boomer. And at that time in Vietnam, it was a bit westernized, quite westernized. In fact, before it was a French colony. Saigon was like a small Paris. And people there, the older generation people, a lot of them, they could speak French. My father spoke very good French because he studied in the French school with the French boys and girls. My grandfather was kind of uh, like kind of a rich with a he's a goldsmith. That's why my father could study in a French school, and he liked to play like French music, or he always speak. He always spoke like French in the house and all that. Because when I was born, he was totally broke because my grandfather passed away, and the neighbors, because we live in a very big Chinese community, because in Saigon, the Chinatown it was and still is so big. It's like from Tsim Sha Tsui to Mei Fu, so big. So we grew up there. We did not speak any Vietnamese at all. And in the 60s, when I was only like 7 or 8 or maybe 10, that was around 1967. The big boys and girls next door, they were playing the Beatles, Elvis, and some cha-cha music and all that. Yeah. And in fact, I did not know any. I'm not musically educated. It just started very accidentally, and I found the music very interesting. Then I would dance to it, and at that time I did not have any record. I was only 10. I did not have any vinyl or player at all. So when they were playing, I would just stay beside and overhear something overheard, yeah. and that's how I got to like music. And then because in Saigon, Saigon is like quite westernized too. Okay. Sorry. Saigon was quite westernized too, and I can remember Sunday mornings, my father would bring us to the sidewalk cafe in Saigon, just like in France, yeah. and had like a French breakfast. I was so because we were schoolboys and girls. We were schoolboys and we it's like every week we wait and we wait until Sunday morning to go to ride the bus and go to Saigon. So it was big thing for us boys, children. And that at that time, the Vietnam War had just started. Yeah, and the city were full of like American soldiers. I can remember that when I was around 10, that was 1967. Suddenly, all the shops downstairs my home were turned into bars for the American soldiers. Yeah. Then every evening, we would like go out to the balcony and watch the streets. It was like a circus.
Wow.
It was like a circus because the boys, the American soldiers, they were quite young. In fact, they were only like some they were only like 18 or 19 or even or maybe only in their early 20s, maybe 21, 22, and they were like fighting, drinking, and fooling around, and and the street would be like there's there would be some like they call the military police.
Oh yeah, MP. Yeah.
The MPs, they would be patrolling the streets. Sometimes I could see that when the soldier boys, they were in trouble, the MPs would like arrest and beat them up. Yeah.
That's like what we watch in some movies, right? In Hollywood movies and even documentaries or TV series. But just now, Paul gave us a very, very vivid background of how he grew up and then in Vietnam, and then this is in the 60s. And you were talking about 1967, and this is the Woodstock we mentioned. We played the song 1969. So it's a big era. We call it, right, Dai Si Doi. And then those Dai Si Doi changed many people's lives from very bohemian, very romantic Sunday sidewalk cafe, drinking coffee, French breakfast, to military wars, and also of course a lot of casualties and fatalities. But then somehow music comes in a very magically way, and also Woodstock is another turning point that we pop culture, cultural study people or music fans, we call it, wow, love and peace. And of course, some people might say, have some reservation that, well, this is the era that people are too idealistic or could not change. The war still, still bombarding and still, ongoing until maybe even to mid-70s. And there were, of course, a lot of other political incidents like President Nixon's Watergate incident. Maybe you might have heard of it. A lot of politics in those times. But then music keep growing and also keep sharing a lot of different subcultures, right? Like you yourself, you like rock and roll, you like a lot of even folk music, and then in the 70s, you also decided to come to Hong Kong. So this turning point, could you also share with us, Paul, that music must be in your heart all along, that you travel with, and then somehow why you pick, I saw some some articles that you work in record companies, you work in hotels, but then you also started your own shop to start your vinyl, ventures. Tell us how this turning point, deciding to come to Hong Kong, and how was Hong Kong back then? A lot of young people was not born yet, of course. Yeah. Please give us some vivid pictures again and soundtrack.
And I, in fact, before I came to Hong Kong, I was always playing around in party around in Saigon. Yeah, I was a teenage, like a teenage hippie, something like that. Yeah, but at that time I was only a hipster, not a real hippie. It was just for fun. It was just for fun, for girls and for parties and all that. And at that time we were like after school, we would be listening to the AFVN. AFVN is like American Forces Vietnam Network, because the AFVN was meant for the American soldiers there. Because at that time, they were like 500,000 military servicemen there. So they had the AFVN, the TV, Channel 11 there, and the AFVN, the radio. So those were my education away from school. So every afternoon after school, we would be back home listening to the AFVN. And in the evening, there would be the television. And the program was like a Batman, Rawhide, like a FBI or something like that. It was the 60s. And I can still remember those TV, but it was only in black and white broadcast, because in Vietnam, there was no color TV, only black and white. And there was another channel, Channel 9, was the local Vietnamese channel, but we seldom watched that because we did not get to understand the Vietnamese culture. But once in a while, we would watch, because performers like Teresa Tang, Deng Lijin, or maybe some famous performers from Hong Kong, when they went to perform in Saigon, Vietnam, the Chinatown, at that time it was the Taiwan. It was called Jalan Cholong. So they were like two cinemas. They would like to perform there. It was like it's like they have connection. Usually the performers from Hong Kong, they would perform in those two cinemas.
Remember any names of the singers and performers, those stars?
Yeah. I can still remember many.
Who are they? Did you like those favorites?
At that time, I did not get to watch and to go and see any of them, because I was only
too young.
Too young. The grown-ups, they would like to go.
Oh, okay.
Teresa Tang was there several times.
Okay.
And I remember Sit Jia Yin, and also
Jia Yin姐
and also 樂家姊妹兩個。And also in fact there were so many. They would usually perform in the famous the two famous Chinese cinema in
it's like turning into a live house. And these Hong Kong stars or Hong Kong performers, would that be kind of your Hong Kong connection, that you would imagine how those pop culture, like Hong Kong has such a vibrant European Canton movie culture back then, and usually they sing in the movies too, right? Like a musical movies, and also of course they have a lot of cover version of those, like even Beatles or 行快啲啦, well, okay, but then they turn it into a very, very quickie of those days they have a 7-day manufacturers, like 7日線, 7 day they make a movie. Wow, it's amazing. TikTok, of course, AI like 7 seconds. but back then there was already amazing. So how these Hong Kong impressions of, because you've never been to Hong Kong, right? In when you're growing up.
No, at that time I've never been to Hong Kong.
Okay.
But in fact most of the time in Chinatown, it's like I could always hear the grown-ups, they say, someday we will go back to Hong Kong. Someday we'll go back to Hong Kong because the route is Hong Kong. So in fact, Saigon, the Chinatown, it was like a small Hong Kong there. We had like a Hong Kong magazines, news, Bruce Lee's movies, like Refugee, we had Refugee, and all kinds of magazines, like comic books, movies, and even the fashion book, like yeah, we had that. Because at that time, we did not get to speak any Vietnamese at all. So we just like read those magazines, went to like Chinese movies. And,
I see. So that's where your kind of the bridge. But then when you decided to come to Hong Kong, were there any songs or music soundtrack to your life that when you first arrived Hong Kong? Of course, it's not an easy journey. I heard it is kind of, back then it was not easy to or safe too, right? And then it's kind of very cinematic and also adventure. But when you arrived Hong Kong, how did you find the Hong Kong, city or Hong Kong or Kowloon that you compare with what you read in the newspaper, what you see in the movies in Hong Kong, in Vietnam? How do you compare those days?
At that time, in fact, before I came to Hong Kong, in Saigon, we were always talking about Hong Kong. And we had like this, a lot of this Chinese Vietnamese like me. We were like Chinese origin, but we were like a Vietnamese nationality.
Right.
We were always talking about Hong Kong and all that. And someday we had this like Hong Kong dream. And people would like sometimes travel to Hong Kong and bring stuff back there and then sell for profit and like that. And at that time, because in Vietnam, we were not so rich, so we could only like we could only buy some bootleg records. The bootleg.
Not vinyl era, right? Bootleg means like a copy, a pirated copies or pirated copy,
yeah.
老翻. You can kind of. You have some examples, yeah? Please. That would be precious, from your archive, special box, not box, I mean boxes. If you have with some of the newspaper, he has, this space surrounded by boxes and boxes of vinyls from different eras, and then, wow. Oh, okay. Okay. I can hold that, and then you can use the mic and then show the audience. Oh yeah.
Yeah. This one is an Hong Kong bootleg.
BOOTLEG bootleg. Yeah.
Yeah. This is I did not have this one in Vietnam, but I had this
Oh,
one in
第一
Vietnam.
唱片. There's the logo there too.
This kind of bootleg, in fact, they were manufactured. They were made in Taiwan. I think they had no copyrights, and they were just they were just
pirated. Yeah, 海盜版. Yeah.
They were just printed out of the original. Yeah.
Wow. So these are the part of the in those days, first, copyright laws was not that yet quite there yet, and second, technology-wise, there is no phone, of course, and then cassette might be one of those pirated days that some people mix tapes, and then of course there are some another level is to make these kind of records. But how do these maybe this is not what you possessed those days, right?
Yeah.
You only bought back when you were becoming a collector and also a shop owner then. But how important are these pirated eras that change your life or those people who love music?
At that time, because in Saigon, there were like some original USA American copies. But they were meant, but they were only meant for the American soldiers.
And also expensive too, right?
And they were not officially if they're
not available too, right? No accessibility. I see.
Available because those original USA copies, in fact, they were available in the PX. The PX is like the post exchange. The very big supermarket in Saigon meant for the American servicemen. Meant for the servicemen. In fact, the PX were everywhere. For example, maybe in South Korea, in Japan, in Taiwan, because whenever the Americans they had the army base, they would have PX, and those PX were like big supermarkets selling consumer products for the American soldiers to make them feel at home.
I see. You might be as curious as I am that how does this sound like? Shall we play one of these?
Yeah,
Go far.
in
And
fact,
see,
in fact,
we're
it's
not
some-
encouraging this, but this is historical archive that, you know, let's change from the original. This was Talk's real deal, right? And then let's see how it sounds.
In fact, it sounds quite nice. Sounds quite,
Okay, okay.
and it is colorful.
Oh, wow. Look at this. These days, we have a lot of, you know, even like Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, they make like thousands of colors vinyls. And this is in the 70s, right? So please pick up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then, which 第一唱片? Let me read some of the lines. 餘光監製, the voice of Scott McKenzie.
Yeah. This is a hippie anthem of
Where flowers to San Francisco is a hippies anthem. Because flower culture or flower power is flower power and flower culture was those symbols that some hippies or even protesters, so to speak, the students, they put the flower into the barrel of the gun to symbolize that. Well, instead of murdering, killing, why don't we, you know, put a flower there? And so this is a song. Okay, please. The track number. You're expert. Yeah. Okay. Let's hear it. It's kind of folk music and also pop. Oh yeah. Oh, somebody. Let's do a karaoke. We call it Vila, okay, vinyl karaoke. Quick survey. We have lots of soundtrack to our lives, to his life. So how many of you, your first time hearing this song? Oh, majority. So be alert that this Cantonese, Chinese translation is 舊金山別忘了頭上戴花. So it's an exact translation here. Be sure to wear flowers in your hair, San Francisco. And then thank you for sharing this, Scott McKenzie tune. And then we will know his live, Paul's live, also music live, his soundtracks, going on this direction that from, you know, Vietnam, San Francisco, and then Hong Kong. And yes, please share some of your stories first, and then we can pick another soundtrack of your life to, oh, this is the, okay. I might,
At that time, before I came to Hong Kong, this one was on sale on the Saigon streets. And this in fact at that time, because we were poor, we had to buy this one. We had to buy this one. And in fact, it sounds quite nice because in Taiwan, they had the original and they just make a negative stamper out of the original and they press this one. So this one sounds, the sound is around 99%. It's so high fidelity.
And then
so nice.
Given this record is already 50-plus-year-old, and it still sounds quite, you know, clear. Yeah, so that's why I told a lot of my students too and friends that vinyl records actually last longer than CDs. CDs gives for a certain time of year. If you have some plastic on top, the plastic will melt. And then if you have some, you know, scratch, and then it could never be paid. It will pay. And then vinyl, maybe sometimes it will get this kind of, we call it the chao dao, the fried beans, or the chestnut. But that sparkles actually gives the listening experience. You know, what brainwash you guys, okay? vinyl. But it's analog, right? And it's organic and it's human touch. Okay, back to your Hong Kong stories, Paul.
Okay.
Some Shui Po, is it how you find it fascinating? Then you stay there for half a century, and then tell us, you know, how you started this dream. Maybe a small seeds first, and then bigger and bigger, and with vinyl records, and then more and more collections. Now you have, the estimate says you have 300,000 plus. 30 萬.
Still growing.
Could you imagine?
Still growing. In fact, In the 70s, I was only a teenager. I was very playful. I'm still very playful now. After 50
Yeah, we
years,
can tell.
after 50 years, I'm not yet grown up. I'm still 18. Now, in fact, I'm 68, but
Wow.
I'm still
You look like
18.
18.
Forever 18.
Yeah, yeah.
Live forever, just like the vinyl. They can live forever. I tell you why vinyls they can last. It's like they can last forever because vinyls the baddest enemy of vinyl is the heat, sunlight and heat. They will melt and damage and warp. But in fact, vinyl it's like they are very they can live a long time, much durable than the CDs and the tapes, and because um, for example, this vinyl is like 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I can call it a dirty new record. It's still new, but it's only dirty. You just clean away the mold and the dust, and it sounds as good. And in fact, it if you keep them nice, they can play around like 20,000 times. Yeah, it can last.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it can last
That forever, actually. Yeah.
If you put it in a pyramid, maybe like a 3,000
Oh,
years.
oh, wow. Is it from the library? Wow. Well, Paul, you hold. Yeah. These are very heavy duty. Later on after the talk, you can come have a touch, and as I introduce how these collection
Yeah, this is a set of vinyl we found in our storage a
wow.
few years ago from World War II.
Wow.
It's actually produced by a famous Cantonese opera singer,
Uh-huh.
Zhou Girl. And she tried to raise funds for the victims of World War II 80 years ago. She performed in the Lee Garden Theatre at that time
Wow.
and recorded this set of vinyl for fundraising. So we're going to have one group. We just mentioned about the project by our students, and one of the group will be making use of this set of vinyls to do a project to not just raise funds, but raise awareness to how, I guess, music can help us connect the world and how we can care for everybody through music.
Wow.
Play it later on.
And then we're talking about some figures. Well, quick quiz. 33, 45, 78. What are these numbers? What does it mean in the vinyl culture, turntable culture? It's the speed, right? RPM, right? Rounds per minute. So usually 33 for most of the 12-inch albums, but sometimes it's tricky. They don't print it, and then you play the wrong speed, and then but this is even fast. It's 7/8. Those were the days that is mostly for the gramophone era, 流聲機. But now this is, of course, it looks like a toy, but some of these toy turntables has 3 speeds. But pause this one usually only for the contemporary consumption or usage. So mostly it's 33 and 45. But if for this one is 78, yeah, we could play it later after the setup. But well, thank you for sharing this. It's even a very heavy one, right? We sometimes we call it a 180-gram audio file, blah blah blah.
At that time, they had to play by a machine. You had to wind it.
Oh yeah, the hand
they call
winding.
The phonograph. You have to
流聲機 with this big speaker, like
for only like 3 or 4 minutes music, you have to wind again. You have to wind again. Yeah, because this kind of toy turntable nowadays you can it's powered by electricity, so you don't need to wind all the time. And at that time the needles were like iron nails. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure some people still have this kind of music on Milgai Temple Street, but those were the days in the 70s. I love this traditional opera.
Yeah.
And I think it's canto too, right? It's canto.
Yeah, it's local Hong Kong, I think.
Yeah.
Local Hong Kong.
Wow. This is priceless, actually, like from the pyramid. Okay. Yeah, just have a taste. This is the soundscape of the city, maybe from the even before 70s, I would imagine. Yeah. World War II, right? 40s. Yeah.
And we.
Ah.
80 years. 80 years. Yeah, 80 years old. And you have to always be very careful to when you handle this, because they can break easily.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
It's very fragile.
those now they're
These are-
yours are better, safer, right?
these
But
are-
these old timers.
Yeah, the ones we are using now are like unbreakables. They call unbreakable.
Superman.
Yeah, you can see that.
Right. You can. Whoa. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, and then plug, and then yeah.
Do this. If I do that to this one, it will plug like this. It will
Yeah,
break
fracture.
instantly. So this one, if you drop, it will break. If you warp and then you press, you will break. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we have to be very, very careful.
Mhm.
Yeah, with these ones.
Yeah.
78.
Thanks for sharing this information to our audience. But back to your life, Paul. Please pick a song that should, because you bring like 10 records. We have only 1.5 hours. Maybe we have to do a sequel or series,
So, yes.
actually. And in those 70s days, Canto Pop is actually entering a turning point from maybe multilingual. We have a lot of English pop from the folk music or the rock music of rock pop rock. The Beatles were in Hong Kong 60 plus years ago. A lot of the legends like Sam Hui or Teddy Robin and many more. Even one of these record company tycoon, Chen Zhongkei's father, Norman Chen Donghan, he was in a band and then he later on took up those record label chief from Diamond Records to Polygram and Universal Music before he retired. And those are very important days because they listen to those Western music and then they try to localize it, not just culturally, but business-wise and also commercially. And those record labels say, hey, there's some chances of business opportunities. They came to Hong Kong, they invest in Hong Kong, and then Warner and also Sony Music, and they all have their Southeast Asian headquarters in the 70s. And then those money making, I mean, copyright companies like Cash, cash is cash, Composer Guild in an international sense, IFPI, they all have their headquarters in Hong Kong and also started business. But before that, of course, EMI is one of the longest running record label back in the late 20th century. And EMI Bak Dai Champion was established in Shanghai first. And then after 1949, the political change, they came to Hong Kong. They have the EMI Hong Kong. They also have those divas like Pun Jie, with Bagger Pan. Yeah, Pun Dehua. Now he's still, 95-year-old, I was told that. And she and also many other Hong Kong music developed in the 70s. And then Sam Hui, one of our alumni, Hui Kun Kim was from Hong Kong U, psychology boy, and his brother Hui Kun Man Michael, a Chinese boy, a Chinese major. They put together some of those classic songs, Titap Ling Wan, Wai Ma San Sen Bun Gen Ba Le, and they transformed the whole culture into our colloquial Canto Pop. These days, Canto Pop could be a Canto Mania, like party, da 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 da. But Canto Pop is actually a very grassroots pop music, and sometimes it could be transformed into Hong Kong Coliseum in the 80s, into a mega star pantheon. So back to your story, I'll just take a quick, transition and see what music you want to play. And this is DJ and moderator's job. When you prepare a song, what song are you prepared to share those fragments of your life?
Because I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, so I'm still living there. I'm still living in the 60s, 70s, no change. This record is a very funny one for me, and it inspired me to call myself Vinyl Hero because this is a bootleg, and this hero label was a bootleg label in Hong Kong, and it had all the different music from the 60s, and
Song will play.
maybe we can play a classic from the 60s. That one was covered by, I think, by Xiu Fang Fang or Chen Boju. The shaking all over.
Oh, okay.
Shaking all over.
Oh, okay. So another bootleg and has the term hero, and you can see it's cartoon, and then there's a dog here, and then the track list. Oh, actually, both sides are the same. It's quite interesting. It's identical. Some of those, I can read some of those names before I pause. Okay, let's get the sound on. Oh, this Agogo, right? You know Agogo? Those were the pop, very trendy. Yeah, still from Chen Boju, those. That's the one, right? Uh-huh. Shaking All Over, originally by Savaris. Okay. So that's playful music, party music, huh?
Yeah, this is the 60s party music.
Yeah. This is the time. Oh, 兩隻眼咪放光 means your sparkling eyes, like whoo, capture the souls.
At that time, the party animals they dance go to this one, yeah. 喐親手就聽打。
Yeah.
This, at that time, because at that time in the 60s, the grassroots people, in fact, they call them like a 工廠妹 or something like that.
Factory girls, yeah.
They were not very well educated in English and all that. So they, in Hong Kong, the smart people, they cover these very lively melodies and transfer them to like a Cantonese and for the factory girls. And they were quite happy with that. And they had this movie called The 7 Scene, 7 Days.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that movie, every movie will finish in just 7 days. Yeah. And it was the black and white. And the factory girls, they work very hard for 1 week. And what they were most happy with was like going to the movie on the weekend.
Yeah. Those were the pop culture, daily lives styles and blending the Western culture and also to the local ones. And then how about you yourself? You like a lot of English songs, basically, right? But you also listen to Canto Pop, because I remember I saw your collection. I have to borrow your Leslie Going, the white vinyl that to one of these exhibitions I tried to help curating with the IFPI to commemorate some big days. And then when he's so generous that, okay, you take it, and then I just, okay, bring it. Of course, I returned safely, not smoothly.
Of course.
And then I know Canto Pop. What does it mean to you when we talk about, wow, that was a big era in the 70s and turned into a very, very massive culture. And of course, it has been like a roller coaster. Sometimes people call it, K-pop is better than kind of, oh, no way, okay. And then it's subjective to everyone. But to you, how does Cantopop mean also to generate maybe some good business too, right? These days, people come to buy, oh, I want to buy Leslie Jones, vinyl. Maybe it's very expensive too.
Now
Tell us all these stories, please.
The first ever Cantopop I was interested in was the Hàng Khoai Đi La, because at that time I was only like 10 years
Couple
old.
version from
in Saigon, the Chinatown, the big boys and girls were always singing on the street, Hàng Khoai Đi La way. So I was thinking, I found it very very funny. That's the very first Cantopop I encountered. Then not long after, the Taiwanese like Yu Shou-yong, Dang Lai Guan,
the Mando Pop,
those Mandarin pop, they were like a typhoon. They swept all over Southeast Asia. And the Cantopop at that time, the Cantopop, the popularity dropped a little. Yeah, it dropped a little. And even like local singers, they had to change to sing Mandarin at that time. But finally, in the around the mid 70s, Cantopop get rise again. Yeah. And Sam Hui and all that, Sandra,
Cinderella, Tai Xiao Yan Yuan, the theme song.
From that time on, Cantopop had a big boom, especially in the 80s.
Yeah. So and then you did you buy those records as your hobby those days in Hong Kong, or is it quite expensive? I remember when I was a kid, wow, we would never get this opportunity to have a color TV in the 70s or even a record player like this today, and we have to listen to the radio a lot. And then how about your early days in Hong Kong, and then your next chapter to start your own business, vinyl record business? Yes, please.
At that time, in the 70s, when I first arrived Hong Kong, the original, the records, they were quite expensive. The Western records like Bee Gees or the ABBA or the Carpenters, they were around like 20 Hong Kong dollars for each. They were so expensive, so unaffordable. At that time, I earned only like $10 a day. So it was like my 2 days pay. So $20 at that time is equal to like about more than 1,000 in today's money.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very luxurious, consumption.
It was quite unaffordable. That's why I love the record so much, because it was quite unaffordable for me. The harder to get, the more you love it. That's it.
Yes, human nature.
Yeah.
Sure.
And at that time, for example, this kind of equipment, this kind of, they call the stereo equipment, for like 10 sets, for like 10 systems like this, you can buy a house. So
Oh yeah, hi-fi. We
Yeah.
call it hi-fi, high
Yeah, at
fidelity
that time.
set.
But
It's very expensive. Yeah.
for example, at that time, the 70s, the color TV, like the Philips, the Telefunken, or those European brands, for 10 sets like those, you can buy a house. They were so expensive.
Yeah.
But now color TV was everywhere. It's rubbish. It's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the value before these records, they carry the culture, the history, the social context that, every individual will connect to it. Maybe you might not be speaking or singing in Cantonese, but then when the melody comes and then the whole, story and then the movie in your head, that's why a very good title to the soundtrack to our life, or also of our life, and of course to Paul's life. Okay, moving on to the golden eras. Many people say, do you agree so? 1980s is the golden era of Canto Pop. You still live in that era. Show your hands, please. Oh, wow. Okay. That's why Anita Mui, Leslie Cheung, Alan Tam. Okay. Winners. Okay. And how about Paula Choi, Xiu Feng Jie? And then bands like Beyond, Hey Go Go Rock and Roll, or 大明一派, and then Raiders, 吸煙的女人, and then 傳說. All these are the 80s, right? And then let's do another seven. 1990s, 四大天王. Okay. 咦？哦，冇 hand 嘅。四大天后啦，飛汪、王菲。哦，有啲啦。And then 鄭秀文 Sammy。Okay. Sally Ye, 葉四文。林憶蓮，而家 cross 緊 80s, 90s 啊。咁啊，and how about your business in those days, 80s and 90s? Must be a lot of people are still finding these or digging these treasures. And then when you were there in those times, and how are these, record business to you? Because a regular stores like Sun Hing Champion in Mong Kok, they are so popular back then. It's like Levin Road. They have only one shop and then two shops, three shops, and then all gone later on. So of course, it's a business cycle, culture cycle.
The Sun Hing Champion, in fact, they were the most famous record shop in along the Nathan Road. They were like 3 shops. Yeah, they had 3 shops, and in fact, I was always only window shopping, never buy, because it was so unaffordable. Yeah. I would like to go to the Temple Street and buy those bootleg records or bootleg tapes. Bootleg tapes.
Yes.
I still keep those bootleg tapes. In fact, they are quite lousy. They are not playable. In fact, but they grew up with me. For example, this one is, in fact, it's rubbish, but it's very, very valuable to me. It's because it's my life.
Right. And then how about the business question? Any business major students or alum here? Or you're a businessman or businesswoman? No? Okay. Yeah. You're too humble. And then let's hear your business side. Because business doesn't mean that you are greedy, or doesn't mean that, right? But then you have to run the business. You have to make balance that, well, you still have your 300,000 stocks. But I don't think you are the regular businessman. But you want to share this as a connection with music fans. People come to, they don't buy records. Some people will kick them out, but you won't. You will talk with them in like for hours about music culture, share your stories and music stories. And what is your business philosophy then, to put in a nutshell, in one word? Yeah.
Because I think this is my mission.
Okay.
This is my
wow.
I'm not a businessman. It's my mission.
Yeah.
I'm always telling people, if they come to my shop, I'm just telling them, this is the orphanage of vinyls. These are not my property. These are other people's property. I'm just keeping them like safe for them. That's it. Yeah. And I like people. I like people who are like really music lovers, and we can be friends and all that. And because in fact I'm on a mission. I want them to, because I always have this concept in my mind, the 3 hours. The 3 hours. That means reduce, reuse, and recycle. And in fact, they are still very useful. In fact, they are not used up. The owner before, a lot of them, they play only for like less than 10 times. And they just, because in Hong Kong, there are lack of space, and they throw them out. And I just pick them up. I just save them and give them a shelter. That's why I'm the orphanage. My shop is like
right.
a regular shop. It's a hippie shop.
Yeah, it's a sharing station or space. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a shelter for the orphans. These are orphans. They're thrown out to the streets.
But then when people want to buy something that is very rare and precious, how do you react to them?
In fact, I hate people who take advantage of me, because it's like people, if the selfish people, they want to take advantage of people. Okay, they would go to the orphanage and want to adopt a prince or a princess. So what's the point in that?
Okay.
Because you are not kind-hearted, right? Yeah. If you are kind-hearted, you went to maybe the SPCA or something like that. You adopt a poor
animals,
dog,
the pets.
Maybe he's sick and something. You take good care of him, right? Then you are kind. But you go there and you try to find a rare breed, expensive dog. Then you're selfish. Then you take advantage of people. That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people sometimes they come to my shop, they want to take advantage. I just tell them stories like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's your principles, right? But I'm sure you have met a lot of very young people, innocent music lovers, and then you share the music culture and stuff with them. Can you share one or two, these encounters that maybe, students, I'm broke, but I want to get, as first start. I'm sure a lot of young people have bought their first record in your shop, right?
In fact, because I always tell these young people, when I see you, I see the younger me. I was like you before, so I could not afford to buy records, and sometimes they just buy the cheap records. They buy one or two. I give them like 5 free records. I always give free records to them. Yeah. Because this kind of records, they are still useful, but because they are like orphans in my orphanage, so they stay there forever, and it's cost me a lot of money and all that, and so I have to to find people to adopt them. Yeah.
Right. So, having been speaking for over 10 minutes, shall we choose another soundtrack to your life that you want to share? Maybe some of these. Wow, let me see. Well, you have Jimi Hendrix, you have Golden Melodies, and you also have Depeche Mode. Wow. You know these guys? Yeah, maybe this song speaks a lot for your stands for your philosophy, right? You want to play the 7-inch? Yeah, let's do that. Because Depeche Mode is also very iconic British electronic pop group, and they used to have 5, and then 1 left, and then 4, and then 3, and then now 2, because one of the founding members, Andrew, passed away a couple of years ago. Now there's only 2, the vocalist and also the musician, Dave Gang and also Martin Gore, and they're still touring. There's a recent movie called the Mexico City Live concert, and they were performing in front of 200,000 people. He has 300,000 records, and then live in Mexico City. And this is in the movie IMAX version in Hong Kong cinema, and now it's on Netflix. Well, so you could check them out, because these guys, they are really music heroes too. Yeah. They I'm sure Paul brings this record has his reason to show you how people should be. And this is one of these iconic tunes. People will go to the dance floor, party time, and then and there's some kind of this sound very unique. It's like construction, it's like factory, and then it's melodic. Okay, another quick survey. First timer for this song? Wow. See, Manny, you introduced a new song to the new audience, but then this is back in the 1980s, right? And then Depeche Mode, or is short initial, they call themselves DM. They still touring, they're still sharing this electronic music with pop melodies, and a lot of their messages are very positive to, I mean, they're not preaching, but they share a lot of this, your spirit too, back in the Woodstock spirits, you know, especially this song, right? You can tell if not with the different crit, and you could criticize people, you know, very, very unscrupulously. And then sharing a lot of these love and peace, to put it in short, like John Lennon has been doing all the times. So tell us why this is important to you, Paul.
In fact, it takes all kinds of people, different race, different color, different nationality to make the world. So, uh, in my opinion, to me, there are only two kinds of people: good and bad people. That's it. I don't care the racial, the race, or the nationality. Only good. Black people can be good too. White people can be bad too, right? So it takes me. I'm just thinking like that. So, and this music is timeless, and and people who love this kind of music, they want to save the world. They don't destroy the things. They don't waste the things. They are good people. So yeah, because my orphanage, like 300,000 records and still growing. I'm still I'm very kind of worried about that, because you know because it will need somebody to continue, because after like more than 40 years, I'm a bit tired already, but I still love it. The inside the fire is still burning. I still love it. I still love it. I'm still party animal, no stop. And this music is timeless. This music is timeless. They are timeless. They live forever. So I remember once some people argue with me. They told me that Paul, you love your record so much, but the young people do not know them, and they're gonna be rubbish someday. I say no, don't worry. I say uh, we are still listening to the music of the like the Mozart, Beethoven. They are like several hundred years ago, right? We are still listening to the music of several hundred years ago. So I don't worry about this. After several hundred years, nobody will be listening to them. I don't worry. They will be classic. They will become classical music. Yeah, and because nowadays, because of the internet, there are many I call modern day ancient people. 現代古代人而家有好多，because we are young, but there are many old souls out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe you people has an old soul already. You're only like 20 years old, but you are living in the 60s, 70s. You are like the ancient day, modern day ancient people. Yeah, and I think because when we grew up, we had the Disney, and Disney always has castles and all that, and the castles are like hundreds of years old, right? So these are gonna be these are like I call them black gold, because people always go for the yellow gold. Yellow gold is good, they are valuable, but they are boring. They don't sing for you. My black gold sings for me every night.
And you must be, you know, fascinating with this special record, right? You want to share why you picked this and what's the story behind this?
Okay, so because there's a very psychedelic track here. There are many good tracks in here. I want to share one with you, like the Magic Carpet Ride. It's a very psychedelic hippie, because the hippies, they took LSD and they trip, and they trip all the time to this music. Okay, I'm going to share this music with you now.
Yeah.
Magic Carpet Ride.
That was part of those historical backgrounds. And then when Paul talked about the black gold and also the vinyl collection and orphanage, I want to share a bit of this space in Hong Kong U, because I still remember we put some vinyl records and also a turntable player in the main building in the GE section of part of the Cedars, and students just come to well, some of you might have been there to listen at your own time and leisure. And then when the Hong Kong Music Library, I think 2 years ago, they have a silent disco party there. So I mean, this is part of the, you know, possibilities that the black gold will sing for you. And if you haven't got the turntables yet, and you still could find these spaces, yeah. So later on at the end of this, I may introduce you to another space that is also free of charge, that you could go to a free music library, or also into Paul's orphanage, yeah, in Abu Street.
If you guys are interested in the records and you don't have a player yet, it's okay. You can come over. I can give you some free records. It's free. No charge at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people always sometimes people like to they have excuse. They come to me and they say, oh, why should I buy records? Because I don't have a record player. I say, no, you are wrong. You are wrong. You are quite wrong. For example, there are good food and the good chopsticks and the bowl and the utensils like the fork and the spoon. So what is more important? More important is the food first. If you get the equipment, the utensils first, the chopsticks and the bowl first, then the good food are gone. So what? So of course you save the good food first, right? Yeah. So now I know there are many smart young people out there. They save the records first, and later they go for the machine. Yeah. So that's
okay. Let's hear it for your choice, and then after this song, we would open floor to your questions and answers session, Q&A. Then you could ask Paul about his music life, vinyl stories, and also if you have your own little vinyl story, I'm sure, yeah, you guys might be interacting, yeah, for free. Wow, this is the fried beans sound I mentioned just now. Chao dao, like coffee roasting.
I tell you some gimmicks. Okay.
Gimmicks. Okay, now. See, playful Paul. Huh?
Where's the spray bottle? Yes, sorry.
Oh, spray bottle here.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
I tell you what.
Cleaning.
Okay. This is the smart way. I tell you why. Because out there, a lot of people, they clean the records. They have to spend a lot of money. They buy the record cleaning machine.
Yeah, there's a machine, yeah. A couple of $1,000s.
Thousands of dollars. And they have to buy the solution, the liquid, and they have to buy the brush and everything. They have to work. So they have to spend money, spend time, and the labor and the work to do that. But for me, it's very, very simple. It's very, very simple.
What's inside the bottle, though?
Just the alcohol and water.
Oh, what's the percentage?
Percentage is like 50-50.
Oh, 50-50,
yeah,
okay.
One part to one part. And for example, this record is like 50 years
Very old times.
Yeah, 55 years old.
Wow.
It's from 1970. Yeah, from 1970.
It's called A Treasury of Great Contemporary Hits.
Yeah, it's a hippie record.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of hippies in the States they have this.
It's also a compilation. Is this a bootleg? Doesn't look like a bootleg. It's like a real one, right?
Real one,
this is a real deal,
EMI,
yeah. From EMI records, yeah. Okay, so please demonstrate how you clean the.
So now, okay, it's
I gotta film you.
Yeah, it's noisy. Okay, so you do that. Okay, now
Oh.
You see, the sound is clean. Yeah, you see that? Simple as ABC. Spending no money. Yeah.
So what's the theory behind it? Is it a dirt or is it particles or is it the module?
After the music, I tell you the secret.
Oh, okay, okay.
This is psychedelic. Yeah. This one was, yeah. No. Magic carpet ride. Because the hippies, they took the LSD, it's like they are flying in a flying carpet.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Paul, for sharing this, quick trick. Yeah. It's really saving some
I tell you why.
time and energy and money.
Because this record is like 55 years old, and for like maybe 40, 50 years, the owner, he did not play it, or he he stopped playing it for so long time. So the dust and the mold would gather inside the grooves because the record works like that.
Okay, so that's mm.
So the because after so many years, the mold, the moisture, the mold, and the dust gathered in the grooves. So when you play, it sounds very dirty, like a frying beans, 炒豆聲, something like that. And the trick is like that. You spray the water with the alcohol, the mixture inside, and it softens the dirt and the mold. And then when the needle goes through, it plays. The sound is clean, and it cleans the record at the same time. It plays well. So this is like, for example, the railway. The railway it stopped. The train has stopped running on the railway for like 10 years, and it's dirty. So you have the rain and the train goes through. It's okay already. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the fussy people, the rich people, they will not do that because they just think, I'm a gentleman. Why should I go through a dirty road, something like that? So they have to get people to clean it first. So that's their way of playing this kind of stuff. That's the way because they are rich. But for me, poor guys and and very economic.
Yeah, it
it's a
is.
secret.
Mm.
So because I have so many records, I have like 30 man, 300,000. So it will take me 10 times or 1,000 years to clean all of them. What can I do? So for every record like this, they are still very dirty. In my warehouses, they are still very dirty. I will not clean them because it will take me a lifetime. So every time I want to play, I just spray it on, and they say, okay, yeah.
Right.
So this is the secret.
Yeah.
Economic, and no need to spend money, no need to spend time, and you don't have to work because they clean it for you. You see that?
So did you discover this, or some friends told you, or this trick?
Discovered it very accidentally. Because
Oh.
last time I want to, because before I was like a stupid, like those, I was foolish too. I did a lot of work to clean the record before I play. Then one time I just clean the record, but it's not dry. Then not yet dry. Then I play. Oh, it's still okay. Then I discovered this. Yeah.
And how about another issue of playing records? That sometimes we have the static, right? And then the sounds, and then sometimes we have those like a velvet cleaner, duster, and is this still necessary if like earlier days in December it's very cold and dry, so a lot of static, right? And then is it also kind of this natural science law in the vinyl story that we still got to use that, and then spraying this doesn't help, right?
In fact, it helps because the static come from the friction.
Friction. Scientist, okay.
Because the
yeah.
because the water is like a slippery, so it's silent. The frying bean is silent. 將嗰啲將嗰啲炒豆聲靜止咗咯。
Okay.
This is like because in Hong Kong, in fact, the dry season, the very the static, it's most of the problem is only the dirt. In Hong Kong, it's not like in Europe or in other countries, always very dry. It's not like that. Yeah. So in Hong Kong, static is a very small problem for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Yeah. Truman show of demonstration. Now it's open floor time. We've got 15 minutes for you guys, so please seize the day and chance. Oh, there's a